Hey, welcome into the Blue Ridge Game Cams channel. Today, we're looking at 5 easy steps to put in a food plot right where you're hunting at. Let's get it. Step number 1, spray the ground. Get rid of all those weeds and vegetation. I use a mixture sometimes if I'm working in the woods and I have a bunch of brushy undergrowth of, you can get crossbow and Roundup, but if I'm just spraying weeds and grass, I put Roundup down. That's step 1. Step 2, make sure that you are clearing and tilling the soil in some way. I know that some of you might be putting in a food plot in the woods where you can't get a tractor to. Maybe you don't even own a tractor or a disc and you don't have that ability. But you can start as easy as raking all the leaves off with a rake and trying to get the soil as free of debris as possible so that the seed can come into contact with it. You have a middle option of renting something like a Mantis tiller. They have those at most rental stores that I've been to, and that's fairly portable even on an ATV back into some backwoods. Or in my case, I do have access to a tractor and a disc, and that's my preferred method once I've sprayed. And make sure you get that soil clear and free as much as possible from debris so that the seed can come straight into contact with the soil. Step number 3, make sure you're treating that soil. In my case, I'm too lazy and cheap to do a soil test. If you've never planted before, that's what's going to give you the best results. I grew up on this piece of property that I'm at, so it's a family piece of land. I know, give or take, how it's going to grow, what it's going to grow, and so on. So I give it a little bit of guesswork. And what I like to use here, and pretty easy, standard, applicable if you're just going into a place and you don't have the money or time to do a soil test, I try and put down some lime every year, and I also put down a starter fertilizer as a part of treating the soil.
All right, let's put some fertilizer down. Use whatever you would like based on your soil. 10-10-10 is an easy starter. All-purpose fertilizer that I find is easy to use without doing a soil test, which I did not. Let's get it.
Step number 4, make sure you're sowing that seed. Make sure you're finding out what works best with where you're at. Where I'm at, I'll tell you here in a second, I like to use some combination of winter wheat, winter oats, winter rye, something like that, and put it with a clover base. The clover, as you can see in the food plot I'm in, it comes back on a perennial basis. And this food plot I'm standing in right here, I have not had to replant in, I think it's pretty close to 3 years now. And so clover is an awesome base, but I also like to put that with something that's really going to hold to the heavy traffic that it'll get in the winter.
I do not like to buy mixtures only. I find that they don't often mix what I want in there. So we're making our own little mix and different ingredients in it. First of all, you'll see that we have this Mossy Oak Biologic Deer Plot seed. Deer Plot. Gamekeeper Mossy Oak Biologic. It's high in winter wheats. It has some oats in it, but it's high in winter wheat, and that's why we add in the 7-card stud, because it ups the overall oat value and gives us a little bit more of what we want. I wanted to mix a little bit of radishes in for part of my grow. I might not put it in the whole thing because it'll just won't be as much. But I will probably mix this in for parts of it just to add to a winter mix, have a little extra radish in there. This is pretty close to pure. It's about 99.6% radish seed. It was 50% off my local area, so I decided I wanted to add that in for a little extra coverage. And then we will be adding in quite a bit of clover. I'm using this mixture this year. This is the first time I've used this Mossy Oak Biologic clover, but this has a mixture of red and white perennial clovers and quick establishing annuals, which I like to have a mix of because it adds to the overall quality. So it'll come back next year, but it'll also get going quick and keep them here, right now for hunting season.
Step number 5, make sure you're covering that seed. If you leave it open and don't put it down, sometimes the rain can take it away, birds can come and get it. So I like to run over it with a tractor or an ATV, or in some cases, if it needs to get a little deeper, I'll run over it with a disc lightly, but try and cover it as much as possible to get the best results.